just to reiterate the reminders, a couple things: photo waivers, make sure that you're submitting those, sending those to your TAs or to me. Gamification, make sure that you're attending your sessions, that you're communicating with your TAs, that you're participating to get money. Join us at 11:30 if you want to do a drawing tutorial with us. Join us during these sessions, participate in class, all that stuff to win some Amazon gift cards. Also, Alex Flores put in the chat a link so everyone can stay in contact. So if you guys want to link up and hang out, check out the chat right now. Also, you can use the chat throughout this session to ask questions for the guest speaker that we're going to have, or for the other peer guide presenters. So feel free to send the questions directly to me in the private chat to me, and then we can, and I'll ask those questions. And so moving on with the day, let's start off with another guided meditation from Carolyn.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. All right, let's begin by making ourselves comfortable. You can sit, you can lie down, get in whatever position you'd like. Begin breathing slowly and deeply. You can close your eyes. With each inhale, close your mouth and inhale silently through your nose. With each exhale, let your lips part and you can make a whooshing sound, exhaling completely through the mouth. Now, think of something you want to bring into yourself. This could be a specific emotion or just positive vibes. It can be happiness, empowerment, or peace. Now, assign this feeling a color. Visualize the color you've chosen. Continue breathing while holding that color in your thoughts. With each exhale, imagine anything holding you back, anything you don't need, draining out of your body to be replaced with a color you have chosen in your inhale. With each inhale, imagine the desired color slowly washing over your body from head to toe. Continue breathing as you visualize the color filling your entire body, including your fingertips and toes. Inhale and let your color fill you in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale anything you don't need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Thank you.
So thank you, Carolyn. So now that we've kind of centered ourselves together as a group, we'll be moving on. We'll be hearing from the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions at DePaul, our first guest speaker for the Adulting 101 session. We hope that you've brushed up on her stuff on D2L. She is a Chicago native from the Southwest side. She loves deep dish and the Cubs. Her name is Rebeca Hernandez. Hello, Rebecca.
Hi, everybody. So I'm happy to be here. Y'all, this presentation that I have for you, I'm like sweating because I think I think it's such a great thing to talk about. But I first just want to kick it off with I'm a CPS grad, so I'm really thrilled to see everybody here. Shout out to anybody from Hubbard. Do y'all have anybody from Hubbard? Are there any students from Hubbard? Kelly, any Southwest High School? Love it.
Curie.
There you go. Shout out to Curie, Kelly, Hancock. Loving. Everybody is great, but just special place in my heart for everybody that's here from the Southwest side. Really excited to be here with you all. This Adulting 101 session, I think when we were talking about everything that we'd cover, I first just want to make sure on timing, just to be mindful of everybody's time. Jason or Kate, do I have 20 minutes, 25 minutes? 20?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay,
you're good with 20.
I have my timer, so I'm going to be mindful of my time with you all. Feel free, Kaylin, to let me know if I'm running out of time. But I'm really excited to be with you all. I'm here today, really just sharing a little bit of Adulting 101 and how that relates to your college search, the journey, but also your time at DePaul. And your time throughout these next couple of years where you're beginning to me, I think, a lot of internal, just search, a lot of getting to know yourself. And it's a journey, definitely not a destination. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all. Keeping this very casual. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, don't hesitate to ask. Want to keep this a little bit of a conversation style. So if anything comes up in the screen and you're like, oh my God, that speaks to me, feel free to, do a little clap hands, raise your finger, whatever it is you want to do to just acknowledge it. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all. Let me know if you also can't hear me. So you should be seeing the Adulting 101 on screen on here. So what I have is what adults are still learning right now, but want you to know they wish they heard at your age. And that's the honest truth, right? Adulting 101 is something that we are still going through. I am not that much older than you all, but I think that I wish I would have heard some of the things that I'm sharing with you all today. And I think Kate, Jason, and anybody else on here, maybe even the peer guides can share that there's a lot of things that you heard in high school or that you heard your beginning years of college that you're just I just wish I could have heard that a little bit more, or maybe that wasn't the best time for me to hear it. So we'll go ahead and get started. I have a quick overview of what I want to talk about today quickly. And most of my slides are going to have just a quote. Specifically, not this one is related to that, but most of them are going to be, shout out to the Black Lives Matter movement. So just added a couple of quotes on there connected to what I'm sharing. But a quick overview, we're going to talk about DePaul University, right? I'm from admission, so we are going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to talk about a quick overview of the university overall and then the admission process. And then we're going to talk about self-advocacy, knowing yourself, your needs, your wants, really looking inward. We'll talk about the DePaul resources. So how can we support you? What resources do we have to really build you, support you, and how, if maybe DePaul isn't the best fit for you, how are some of these resources also applicable and things that you're going to search for in whatever college or university you're going to look into, whether that be next year, in the next 2 years, whatever that looks like for you. Definitely wanting to acknowledge that these resources are available in plenty other universities and colleges. And then listen, challenge, grow, and build. So what happens after, right? After you really look within yourself, what is that call to action and what is that call to change? So education is that whole system of human training within and without the schoolhouse walls, which molds and develops men. That's true. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about the college search. But truly, to me, I think education really expands even just your time in college or within said university. Now, DePaul specifically, a quick overview of DePaul. We're founded in 1898. We're named after St. Vincent de Paul, and we are the largest Catholic university in the nation. We're more of a medium to large school, so we have about 24,000 students total. And we have an undergraduate class of about 16,000. So when you're hearing from universities, medium to large, that seems to be a good sort of middle ground for some students. The best thing about us, for me specifically, is that although we have the resources of a medium to large school, we're going to have smaller class sizes. So the focus is very much in that sense of community, more of a personalized education with a 15-to-1 faculty to student ratio. So you're really going to build that relationship with your professors, with your peers, with students, and that builds a greater sense of community. We have 2 different campuses. So what you can see on my background as well is the picture that you see on the screen here. So we have our Lincoln Park campus and our Loop campus. Lincoln Park campus is our our main campus, that's the one that's really close to Lincoln Park Zoo. The lake is a 10-minute walk. It's more of that traditional college campus feel. 10 to 15 minutes away, we have the Loop campus, and that's that busy go-getter environment. So I always talk to students about your college campus. I know many of you have probably walked through DePaul, you've seen the signs, but there's something about learning more about universities, specifically in the city that you live in, that maybe sometimes you might be considering DePaul, or maybe it's a school that you might say, that's my safety net. I may be thinking of going out of state. I know schools here in Chicago. I'm not sure if it's the best fit for me right now. That's okay. But I do welcome you once things start getting back into maybe opening up a little bit. And if we can have any students on campus and tour our spaces, I would recommend you, if that's not so available to you, we do have virtual tours. So I'm going to share all of the links that I included in the presentation. I'll share the presentation with you all, but I'm including virtual tours as an option if you haven't yet actually gone through some of the spaces within the university. Another great thing that you're going to hear from many universities, we have a venture pass that's included in your tuition. You don't have to worry about adding any money to it. So getting to and back home from campus, or if you're living on campus, all of that is free. And it's a great way to also enjoy the city and have that at your fingertips. So you can use it to go back home if you want to visit friends, whatever that looks like for you, but it's available with the exception of our larger breaks. We have 10 different schools and colleges, so you see them listed here. I know the most common questions that students always ask are, what are the most popular majors, right? So I won't go through the full list. You can see all of the schools and colleges on the screen here, but most popular ones and common ones that we get a lot of questions for: psychology, film and television, computer science, business, anything within business. Most popular ones are going to be accounting, marketing, and hospitality. Animation ranked number 4 in the nation, political science, biology, music, and theater. So those tend to be the most popular ones. We have over 300 academic programs. So if there's anything that you are curious about, maybe some that don't necessarily have to be popular majors within a said university, I think it's still important when you ask universities if there's one that you might be interested in, even if it's not their most popular one, that doesn't mean that they don't have it, right? You're going to be able to click on that link and see the full list of those academic programs. Some of the ones that maybe might not be our most popular end up making the larger impact on students. Some of the most popular classes or most impactful classes that I took were from our African American and Black diaspora, our peace, justice, and conflict studies, our community service courses. So many of those classes that create more of a dialogue are also just as important as our most popular ones. Study abroad, we have over 80 different programs, but we're a unique institution because we also offer programs for first-year students. You can study abroad. It's a smaller portion. It's about 10 to 15 days, and you're going about that your freshman year. So you don't have to wait your sophomore, junior, or senior year. This is available for you your freshman year. Internships and career readiness. I can't talk about DePaul without talking about internships and career readiness. Our students usually end an internship at the end of their freshman year, and it's so impactful to know that a university really prepares you for that hands-on experience. So you're going to hear that quite often. I'm sure you're going to hear it from presenters as you hear more about DePaul, but that's something to really think about when you're looking at colleges, right? Is what is their graduation rate, and what is their rate for students once they graduate, that they land their dream job or they come back to continue, their further their education. Next steps. So once you've heard all about that, about DePaul, what happens next? So for those of you that are able to, apply, I don't want to lie and say that, or I want to acknowledge the elephant in the room, right? There is a pandemic happening, right? There are things that are shifting. Maybe the options that you were thinking about, maybe that's shifting. Maybe that's changing. Priorities are changing. Your household is changing. That's okay. And I want to acknowledge that, and I want to bring that to the forefront. But for those students that are going to keep that college search going and want to continue that, I recommend you to do so. And maybe the schools that are here in state are going to be your option, right? Maybe DePaul was always that option, but if it's now DePaul, not looking into it further, we are part of the Common App. Now, like many schools across the nation, we have always been test optional. So as opposed to what a lot of schools are doing right now due to due to the pandemic, because you weren't able to take your test scores, is they were moving to opting students not to submit them, right? To go test optional or to go test blind. We don't require you to submit your test scores. All we need is a Common App. We don't have an application fee, your official high school transcripts, and if you have taken the ACT or SAT prior to your junior year, some students happen to do so, you can submit those scores, but they're not required. So we are going to look a little bit more critically on your grades. I've added links on here for students that are taking any AP or IB classes. Shout out to my IB folks. I'm a former IB student myself. So you can definitely see what type of credit we offer you depending on the score that you get. Important deadlines to keep in mind. Our early action deadline is November 15th. And I want to acknowledge that because one of the biggest things that I think when it relates to Adulting 101 and College 101 is scholarships. It's financial aid. This is when you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. When you think about the opportunities for you to get the most money when it comes to academic scholarships, which we offer to you based on your application. And when it comes to additional scholarships based on service and leadership that you apply for, those are only going to be available for you, specifically the service and leadership, when you apply early action. Following early action, which is the February 1st deadline, you're still going to be reviewed for our academic scholarships, but not the additional ones, so not service and leadership. So I recommend you, if you're someone that's been a leader in your community, in high school, you've given back, to apply early action. So that's before November 15th. So we've talked about that College 101 portion. I think that's great to talk about DePaul in terms of the overview, but I think it's really important to also know yourself. Part of that Adulting 101 is really looking within. If anybody here is watching Avatar, I know that's been very popular on Netflix, that looking within, right? Knowing yourself, knowing your chakras. I think that's really important. James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. So really looking within, I think it's important as you navigate what these next couple of years are going to look like for you. And what does knowing yourself even mean? It's knowing your needs versus your wants. So the needs, they're going to be independent but related to your college search and experience. What helps you thrive? So what right now do you enjoy about your educational journey, or do you feel really brings to light the best out of you, whether that be skills that you harbor in it, maybe it's books that you read, maybe it's the type of learning environment that you are in, the people that you surround yourself with. Your learning environment, is it small versus large classes? The classes that you had right now, I know you all just went through remote learning, but if you can think back to the physical structure of your classes, did you enjoy those 30 to 35 students in your class? Are you okay if that grows from 30 to 35 to 150? If that might not be manageable for you, then you might be looking at a smaller to medium school versus a larger state school, right? Where those classes are going to be 100, 150 students. You might not necessarily get to build that sense of a community in your classroom space. You might do it as a larger community, but not necessarily in that educational space that becomes your classroom. What resources did you use or have access to in high school that contributed to your success? For me, I liked classes where I knew my professors knew me, and they were able to get to know us so that when they were teaching, it wasn't a lecture, right? They weren't just talking what felt like they were talking down to you. It was, I'm engaging with you. I'm going to provide some structure to you. I'm going to challenge you, but I'm going to do so in a way because I've gotten to know you and it's going to help you grow. And that helped me focus. So if that's the type of learning environment that you thrive in, you might want to ask of that in your college search. What does accountability really look like to you and for you, right? So when you really think about the times where you were really on top of things, so things happen all around you, but when you were your best self, what was going on around you? Who was around you? What was supporting you? Maybe what did you have access to? Was that your high school counselor? Was that a social worker? Who was that, right? That was supporting you and helping you get through that. And then your list, building that college 101 list, building a list of even what are you looking for in a college, and then what colleges are you going to apply for. I think that's a great way to get started. So I'm going to add, that link is on here, of providing you maybe just some questions to ask yourself to help you build that college 101 list. And then versus your wants. I can't deny, if anybody had an experience like myself, I'm sure many of you have, where maybe your needs versus your wants were very different. For me, I had the responsibility of being a financial support to my family. So I was working 2 jobs even in high school. Many of you are probably doing that, right? You're taking this class over the summer, which is really great, but maybe you have a job that you're also going to. Maybe you're helping your younger siblings. There's a lot of things that maybe you have to consider outside of just your own wants. So I want to acknowledge that and say that maybe you're not going to have that, college search the same that maybe your friends having, right? The freedom and the responsibility that comes with graduating or becoming that adult, I think is something to really keep in mind. Talk about that with your friends. You may be surprised that maybe many of your other friends are also going through the same thing that you are currently going through. Facing change. I definitely would say that a lot of the college search stems from, you have really great friends right now. That's your community, that's your tight knit, but maybe their needs and their wants are going to be different from you. So they're going to take them to a different college, a different university. Maybe it's going to be a different journey for them. That doesn't mean that you all can't meet later or throughout that journey, but it may look different. So I always recommend students be your own individual. It may feel lonely, but your needs and your wants may be very different, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you still can't be friends, right? But it may be that what your journey following is going to be a little bit different. Looking ahead, look at those long-term goals that you have. I know many times when your professors, your counselors, maybe even the conversations that you're having right now are sparking a lot of, if some of you are more like intuitive, maybe more reserved, you tend to internalize things a little bit more. Those things that you think about, those goals that you may think about more internally, make sure that you also bring them to light. You talk through those because those are things that you might want to get to in the future, but they require some focus of you right now. Whether that's, hey, your part-time job right now, if your family depends on it, then you might have to use up all your money. But if you can save that money, then live on money that you can, not on what you're actually making. So make sure that you're saving some money. You're moving that money aside. Maybe you're investing that money. Many of you have taken computer tech classes way beyond what I had in high school. You're probably already investing your money. You're probably already, using those apps. Take that into account and use that, grow that financial literacy. But I understand that maybe it can't be about you right now, right? There is a pandemic happening. We understand that a lot of things have maybe changed for our families. So maybe your college search and that journey, maybe you have to do it alongside your family. So this is where I would say DePaul could be a good option for you. Or maybe it's that college may not be that next step for you. Maybe there's an in-between, and that's okay as well. So use that support that you're building right now to really help gauge that for yourself. And then I can't talk about Adulting 101 without sharing one of my favorite artists, which is Kendrick Lamar. If you haven't, I'm sure all of you have, but one of my favorite albums is To Pimp a Butterfly. I think there's a lot to dissect from that album. But one of the biggest things that I think about when thinking about Adulting 101 and your college journey, even high school, is your core. This network, this community that you build, there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of you that you need for many different areas. And so these are, I was trying to build like a little bit of like a flower here, right? Where the center is your network and your community, but all these others, right? Those petals are your support services. So the resources that DePaul has, I think are phenomenal. And they fit all of these pillars. So when you're looking at DePaul or any other institution, I would recommend you to look at these pillars. The first one being cultural and identity-based spaces. We have 5 different cultural centers. We have our Office of Multicultural Student Success that really enables providing students these set spaces. whether it is to create dialogue, to just have a safe space. Students hang out there just to eat their food. Students hang out there to showcase and find a space where they can tap into maybe a history that they might not always learn about. They can tap into, their ancestors, things that may be a connection to them. And I think those are very important spaces that maybe you didn't necessarily have in high school or have that as part of your high school environment right now. Spiritual and religious. Some of you maybe, if you identify as Latino or Hispanic, like myself, right? Being Catholic is a huge portion of that. If you identify with that aspect of yourself and your culture, maybe you want to continue that in college. You want those spaces. I personally had no connection to that, but I wanted to grow myself spiritually. So at DePaul, there are non-denominational and denominational spaces. We have our Jewish center, we have our Muslim center, we have interfaith spaces, we have a STAIN center that's dedicated completely to community service, and those are areas that you can also take advantage of. Faculty and staff. I can't deny that you are going to meet some of the best faculty and staff that you've ever met in your life if you come to DePaul. One of the greatest relationships that I ever built were long-term, and continue still having those relationships with faculty and staff that taught a couple of classes while I was a student. Maria Hinojosa, who, you listen to her podcast, you hear her if you listen to NPR Latino, she was physically like in front of me, like I was in classes with her and she was talking about mental health with Latinas. She was talking about suicide rates within Latinas specifically and thinking about that critically. Some of these faculty and staff are going to be the ones that are going to really hold your hand and guide you through those next steps of your life. Mental health. I know I keep bringing back Avatar, but I think it's really important. I think it's really important to think about your mental health right now, especially as maybe some of us get the privilege of staying inside more often than not. Really thinking about those times, right? We have counseling centers at DePaul, which you get free mental health services at DePaul. But if there's anything that maybe we can't provide for you, we also direct you and connect you with outside resources if we need to. But there are free appointments and counseling sessions that you can take advantage of just as a student. Career readiness, we're going to talk about internship. We're going to build your resume. You're going to have mock interviews. All of those areas are going to be available to you through our career center. But then we also have career readiness through research opportunities that maybe your advisor or your faculty member is going to point you in the direction of. Friendships and student involvement. I can talk all about adulting, right? But I think that it can become a time and a space where you may need to depend on your friends a little bit more. There's going to be a lot of things that happen in the next couple of years. I can think back and I'm like, wow, my life completely changed throughout my 4 years at DePaul. I wasn't the same person that I was in high school. And that was part of, you make new friends. I'm still friends with the same friends that I had in high school, but I also made new friends. And those friendships, I think, cultivated a deeper sense of understanding, of growth, of a lot of things and times and experiences that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, right? Which I'm sure you all think about right now. But finding that tight-knit, that safe space for you is going to be really important. We have over 300 plus student-based organizations. So I want you to find those spaces on campus, but I also want you to find the people, right? The people that are going to walk with you is also just as important. Financial literacy. I am a huge proponent of talking about financial literacy. Many of you are going to be going through these next couple of years of your life. You may have a full ride to a university, or you may have to take out some loans. Fair game on all of that. But if you have a chance to work on campus or have, a side hustle of yours, I know that it's really easy to, especially when you are beginning those adulting stages, to want to use that all up. You're like, oh my God, I'm balling. I got this money. We're going to travel. We're going to go on road trips. We're going to party, all of that. Fair game. Do it. I want you to do all of that. But I also want you to even start off small. every month that you get that paycheck, save $50, save $20, whatever that small amount where you're like, I can live without this. Like I can live without those 2 coffees. I can live without that one shirt from Target. I can live without, you know, that one album or that one, like, you know, art piece that I've been wanting. I can live without that. Separate that money. Don't touch it. Leave it. Leave it in a place where you can't have access to it. Give it to your parents. Give it to whoever needs to have it, but that it's not you, right? And I think of how important this is specifically for my students of color, my first-gen students, where financial literacy maybe wasn't something that was taught to you or was accessible to you and to your family. And so you might be the first in your family to get that big paycheck. You might be the first in your family that makes more than your parents combined, right? That's a reality. And I hope that we can all kind of learn together. But there are going to be spaces on campus, specifically within our career center, that help you budget, that help you set a plan, that help you start paying off your loans even while you're in school. All of those are going to be options. And then the last thing is tutoring. You're going to have questions. You are going to struggle. You are also going to fail. I can't tell you how many times I failed. I can't tell you how many times there was one class that I took where I was so close to failing that class. I felt like I tried my hardest. I was like this, I literally bloodshed and tears. I stayed up late at night and I was still finding it so hard to finish that class. And I reached out to my professor. They pointed me to, you know, additional tutoring that was available at DePaul. I also had a peer mentor through the Office of Multicultural Student Success that was there to guide me and to put me through 2 different resources. My professor stayed with me after class for almost a full week and a half, for 30 minutes every single day, just to get me through that class. Those are the type of environments that you want to make sure that you have, is what tutoring services are available, what support services are available to students when they're thriving, but also when they're struggling, right? To help keep you and get you through the 4 years of said college or university. And so I want to wrap this all up by saying this quote, I think, really speaks to me, not only especially during this time that we are in right now, but it says, "I love America more than any other country in the world, and exactly for this reason, I insist on the right to criticize her perpetually." And this, yes, has to do with our political climate right now, but I think this is also related to your education, to the spaces that you're going to be in. I recommend you to be an advocate for yourself, but to also be the person that you are going to actively participate, but also challenge the spaces that you are in. Let it challenge you and challenge it, because you are going to be a student. You're going to be there. Leave an impact. Make sure that you ask questions, that the spaces that you take up, take it fully. Grow together, build those bridges among other students, learn from other students that might look very different to you, but you have the right to be in those spaces. You also have the right to challenge those spaces. So that was my quick adulting 101 session that I hope really just gave you an idea of college access, right? DePaul 101 provided you resources that are going to be available to DePaul, but that you can also look for in other universities and areas. And I am going to share this presentation with you. So all of those points that you see on here, all of those resources that I mentioned, I'm going to have those links available to you, because some of those spaces are actually hosting summer events for students, even if you're not admitted to DePaul, even if you haven't applied to DePaul, but they're available to students right now. So I would recommend you to visit some of those links. I know you all have added some things on the chat box. Some of you said period, I love it. But yeah, I know we don't have that much time, so I'm not sure if we want to open it up to questions, or if anybody has some thoughts, comments, concerns. Rebecca, this was like totally wrong.
Not even that. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything that you're saying. The only question that I received, and I'm hoping you just say a word about it, in terms of like actually applying for the academic 2021-2022 year, or also in general, when does the application open to apply for undergrad, and like what stage does early action and the normal application close?
Yes, great questions. So the common application opens in August. So that is the common application is sent to multiple universities. So as you're looking at various universities, everybody either uses the common app, which gets sent, you fill out one application and it gets sent to everybody, or they have their own, right? Or they have like a state one. So if you're applying to several state schools in certain states, they might have their own specific one, like a UW-Madison system, they have their own. But specifically for the Common App, it opens in August. You can start it right now, or in August, excuse me. And then early action deadline is November 15th. So you have as soon as it opens through November 15th to submit it early action. And early action means that you're not bound to us. Early decision, as you're looking at other schools, means, hey, I'm applying there, I get admitted, I'm bound to that school. So there's a little bit more of a restriction with how many schools you can apply to early decision. But for us, it's just, you have the right to apply early. You have the benefit of receiving your decision earlier. So you also have the opportunity to look at all of your options and take some time to decide and find the best fit for yourself.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. One more question that that is in the chat. And I really want to know personally, I'm a big fan. Who's your favorite Avatar character if you follow the show?
Oh my God. Okay. So I've finished watching Avatar and I already watched The Legend of Korra, but, you know, I think my favorite thing about it, I know that this is, some people love them, some people don't. But I think for me, it would have to be, again, and I'm blanking out of his name, from the Fire Nation.
Zuko?
Zuko. Because I think he had the most growth throughout the show. I think there was a lot of humanness to him, right? Of like failing, of making mistakes, of knowing that you maybe sometimes may do the wrong thing. You may say the wrong thing. And there was a lot of growth with him. Toph was also another one of my favorite characters because women empowerment, and that's all shown throughout Avatar. I think you could dissect literally Avatar in a full class. So College Connect next year can dissect Avatar as an option. But I think it's a really, really great show. If you all, it's not for everybody, but I think that there's a lot of cultural connections. There's a lot of themes to that show that are applicable, I think, to really adulting 101 for sure.
Yeah, well, you're getting a lot of love in the chat for Zuko there. Yeah, I just want to say thank you one more time for all of your help with the presentation synchronously, with your asynchronous content. Looks like those are all of our questions for now. We've gone a little bit over time, but yeah, just thank you so much.
Thank you all. It was a pleasure getting to know you all, or really, I think kind of maybe you listening to me a little bit more. But if you want to further this conversation or need any help, like I said, I'm going to share this presentation with Kate and Jason. If they want to share with the rest of you all, it has my contact information in there in case you have any further questions. I'm also the person to help you through that admission process. So again, happy to help. Thank you all so much for inviting me to the space. Y'all have a good one.
Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Bye.
So with that established, with that amazing presentation done, we're going to be moving on to a little bit of a review through Kahoot again. So I'll let Sam, the other TA from my sports reporting class, ours, take over with that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen. Today is real simple. With the shortage of time, it should be real easy. Yeah, so just kind of just go over a few things. I'm just really testing guys' knowledge on what you may or may not know. Go ahead, click that and get her started. I'm gonna put the code in the chat, by the way, too.
So yeah, make sure you join. Since we're running a little bit behind on time, we'll give you guys 2 minutes to join in. Yeah, and remember, peer guides, unfortunately, can't play, but you guys can, anybody who can't join in on the phone can obviously play along in their heads, guess the answers, but yeah, we'll leave it open for a little bit longer. Oh, also I want to say, make sure that you're putting names that we can recognize in terms of just tracking on our side, and there's also potential for prizes. So if you don't put your real name down, we won't be able to track it. Honestly, I just want to say I love the whole Avatar conversation there. I gotta say, Appa's the best though. Like I get Zuko and all the humans, but Appa all the way. Sam, do you watch?
Uh, every now and then, yeah. I used to watch when, like, before it actually came on Netflix. I was actually a huge fan of it, but
Mm-hmm.
fell apart. When,
Yeah, I watched it as a kid, like those
yeah,
Nickelodeon. I'd stay
yeah,
up,
Nickelodeon, right?
wake up early, but being on Netflix is amazing. Just watching it whenever. Like I've also pirated it a couple times over the years, so
Yeah.
it's nice to do it legally.
I'm gonna have to put that on. Yeah, no stealing stuff. I'm gonna have to put that on my list. I have not seen Avatar. I have not seen it. Don't hate me. I
You're
will
missing out.
weekend.
Are we all good?
Watch it this weekend.
Pause at like 67, so 66. I'm giving like another 30 seconds. Start it up.
Well, for everybody who's saying is they haven't watched it, definitely try and check it out. I know it's like kind of anime style, it's a cartoon, but it literally won awards for how good it is for being a kid's show. It's hilarious, great characters, highly recommend.
You know, I thought you was talking about the movie at first. I was like, yeah, I saw
Don't even.
New People. I was like, I saw that. But no, you're talking about the Airbender one. All right,
Airbender,
I
yes.
got it. The
Right,
last Airbender.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lock it up.
All right, we're gonna start playing. And Dean, we don't talk about the live action. Just saying.
All right, so it says, okay. All right. Oh, wait. Okay. True or false? Is DePaul a test optional school? All right. So, yes, DePaul is a test optional school. I just kind of put that in there just to let you guys know. With everything that in the past, with just kind of with things going on, yeah, DePaul is a test optional school. I know a lot of universities might look forward to like what you've done on the ACT or the SAT. So, yeah, no, DePaul is a test optional. All right, so we got Alex so far, looking good. What does FASFA stand for? Wait till we get to that 72 mark again. Okay. Well, yes, it stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And yeah, this is something that will be very significant when you guys get to the point of applying for colleges and throughout college. This is something that will save you money and give you money as well. So this is something that is very important. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I made that a little double points because it's important. So you got to know what it is. Is it ever too early to visit college? It's real simple. It's never too early to visit college. To the two right there. As a sophomore, junior, I had friends, and including myself, who would want to go visit colleges. You never want to make it like just a huge hassle over your senior year of high school, just to like go visit. So yeah, throughout your sophomore and junior year, make sure you guys kind of plan things out. Especially with everything going on now, you might just want to contact the college, see if they have online tours, so forth and so on. But yeah, hopefully when everything does get back to normal, we can visit colleges. So yeah, make sure you guys do that. Another double points. DePaul is one of the largest blank universities in the country. We are the largest Catholic university in the country. Yes. So I'm sure we've went over it a few times. Yes, we are one of the largest Catholic universities. If not, I believe number one in the country. Not 100% sure, but yeah, just DePaul knowledge. Real simple. What is FASFA? So I already said what does it stand for, but what is it? Is it financial aid? Is it family organization, nonprofit, student council? Yes, it is financial aid. This is, like I said, yes, FAFSA is very important, and financial aid is significant within your college process. You guys want to make sure you apply for it when the time comes. I don't have specific dates in total, but I'll make sure to give you guys that information. Early action is? Okay, yeah, it is applying to college as early as November and receive a decision by December. So they have a time period where you do apply to college throughout that November, fall, little Thanksgiving area time period. And so you guys want to make sure that, if you do decide that you really uh, are confident, you have that choice of going to a certain school, make sure that you do early action. Um, yeah, it's something that's another option that you guys have with choosing colleges. Just make sure that you feel comfortable for where you want to go. Which of the following does financial aid consist of? So this was a freebie, honestly. I mean, you could have put a whole lot of bread, but that was the informal answer of it. But yeah, this financial aid consists of grants, federal loans, scholarships. This was kind of an easy one. I just kind of wanted to make sure everybody got some type of participation for it. But yeah, shout out to those 6 people who decided to put a whole lot of bread, though. What are test optional submissions? Okay, yes. So you have the option to submit either ACT or SAT scores. That is what test optional submissions are. So basically, you have the option whether or not with your college application if you want to submit those scores or not. So yeah, it was pretty simple. All right, one more after this. Are ACT, SAT, and SAT waivers available for students? Okay, yeah, this is pretty simple. For me, I took the ACT maybe like twice, maybe even 3 times. And the SAT I took twice. And with my school, they actually gave waivers. They gave me 1 waiver the first time, but requesting them and kind of like going on, I think it's College Board you can get them from too. But requesting those so you don't have to pay, because I know paying for the ACT is usually around like maybe 40, 50 bucks. If not, I'm sure it's probably a bit more higher than that, maybe 60 max. But requesting those waivers so you can save money and so you can take those tests, because you want to take already enough, it's burdensome. Like you got so much to prepare for, and with those tests, just on top of that, you have to pay for it. It's a lot. So requesting those waivers and saving time and money on basically trying to get those is very significant. So yes, they are available. And last question. What is one admission requirement for a 4-year college? This is pretty simple too. Okay, yeah, so they're all right. Yeah, so this was pretty simple. Can I get some GGs in the chat? Thank you guys for the Kahoot. I sincerely appreciate your time. But yeah, we can hand it over to my group mates, Ilse and Jordan, if you guys want to go ahead and do that, or Kaylin.
Let's just see the scoreboard though, real quick.
Oh yeah. Make sure.
Who ended up winning?
10 out of 10. Yeah, see, it was simple. It's not nothing too major. 10 out of 10.
Okay, so yeah, good job everybody. I hope that was a good little review. It is just about 1, and so we do say that these meetings are supposed to go from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. So I think it's all right if we keep going. If you have to drop off, it's understandable. Feel free to reach out to your TAs to connect with anything else. I do want to jump over to Ilse and Jordan, the TAs for social justice, and the other presenters for today. If they want to leave us with anything in about 5 minutes, like any last ideas about the college bucket list that you guys, that other students have seen in the discussion board. Any last comments you want to make about that?
Yeah, so Rebecca actually went over the bucket list like activity that we had planned. So we decided not to just repeat the same stuff, so that we're gonna just like, hopefully, I was going over the submissions last night, and a lot of you all were writing how location and financial aid were some of the biggest or not the biggest ideas, but the biggest things that you all look for in university. We did have a really quick like a college admission writing thing that we wanted to go over, but because of time, we're really not going to go over it. So I kind of just want to just really introduce to you all what a personal statement is when you are applying to a university. So this personal statement that you all will have to write at one point in your high school career is an essay that you will write to show the college admission committee who you are as a person, but also kind of prove to them why you deserve to attend the university. A lot of those prompts can be found on the Common App, and the Common App has announced that they will be keeping the 2019-2020 prompts the same for the 2020-2021 school year. So if you look those up online, you can find them. Additionally, it is also important to highlight that you don't have to follow a prompt. You can put an essay of your choice. It just looking at your own writing ability and deciding if you will follow a prompt or you will follow your own writing style. The Center for Access and Attainment does offer editing, so take advantage and send over any personal statements or scholarship essays that you have that you would like to be reviewed. It is a great opportunity to have your essay reviewed, because while you may think it is perfect, which I'm sure it is, I'm sure there will be little areas where we can help you to make a fantastic essay. There really isn't anything. I know Jordan had some tips that she wanted to share for you all, so I'm not sure if she wants to come on in.
Yeah, so another important part of like the whole writing process is having a really strong hook. So you want to like grab your reader's attention as soon as you start your entire college essay. So like ask the question about or ask a question to the reader about like the particular topic that you write about. Use descriptive words to kind of like create a visual for the reader. And then like make it mysterious, or like introduce enough to make them curious about like what else that you have to say. And then really just making like a thought-provoking discussion. So having like a thesis statement and supporting details, and then a call to action. So that's pretty much it as far as the writing tips go.
Yeah. So there's just like some quick things. You also have all the information on D2L, just some other notes about the content. There's also, Sam mentioned fee waivers for SAT and ACT. The steps and application process for the College Board are also posted in the additional materials section of week 2 for the Alting 101 page on D2L. I'm also posting the flyer with the email and all the information that College Access made for our free essay editing service. You can send us any essays whenever you want, and you'll get those edited back to you for free in just a couple days. Also, we had one question about tours, in-person tours. And so at the moment, because of the pandemic, we're occasionally running virtual tours, which are still extremely informational. It's just, you do kind of lack on that in-person, like the feel of the campus. And so we're not exactly sure when those will resume, but definitely when the pandemic, when we're like when we're off of social distancing, when we wean off of it towards phase 5 of reopening, we'll send out more information about it. But yeah, thank you for joining us. There's a couple more reminders that we want just from the directors. If you can just sound for a couple more minutes.
Hey guys, thank you very much for joining us today. I just wanted, since we were talking about essay editing, I just wanted to let everyone know I had emailed all of the TAs already. We do have support from the DePaul Writing Center. DePaul has a very, very high quality writing center where there's a lot of people who are English majors or just specialize in editing that can edit essays in general. And so they are here for the summer at a reduced number. Some of them have gone home, obviously, but they can edit essays online just like we do during the year, but they are available to you guys for your class essays. So I know different classes during College Connect have different amount of written work required, but if you're ever writing something for College Connect or during College Connect, if you're applying somewhere for an internship or somewhere, or you're already working on your college essay, you can always send those to the Writing Center at DePaul, and they have, as I said, really highly trained editors that can help you. Again, it's free. It just happens over email, so it's really quick. You can also have a Zoom meeting with an editor. I have just confirmed a couple days ago that this is a service that they are once again providing for us. So your TAs have the instructions of how to get in touch with them. There's an online form you fill out, and they can help you with your writing. Just wanted to say that. Thanks again for joining us.
So yeah, just one more time. So one question we got in the chat is, can you send the essay that you have to one of your TAs? Absolutely. But also in addition to that, our office offers, and this is throughout the entire year, not just for the program, free essay editing services for if you have a paper in high school, if you have a college application, a LinkedIn bio that you want to send us, a personal essay, personal statement. You can send any of those documents to us and we'll get back to you with feedback. So since we're a little bit over time, I'm kind of going to rush through it, but more reminders, send us your photo waivers. If you hadn't heard me say it already, you have to have heard me already. Send any photo waivers to your TAs or to myself. Sometimes there's submission boxes on D2L. Just keep us updated with those photo waivers. We need them as soon as possible. Keep in mind gamification, so you'll get prizes and little rewards for participating and staying engaged. Check us out on social media and Instagram at DePaul College Access. And keep in mind that you have assignments for this class due every Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. So make sure that you're posting in the submission folders, your 1-paragraph response, so that we can track your participation. Just literally 1 paragraph, 5 sentences, and you're good. But if nobody has anything else, then I just want to say thank you so much for participating. It was great to see you all and to draw with some of you to learn. But yeah. Stan, if you have any questions, other than that, have a great rest of your Thursday. And happy second week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.